Mhm. We should be good to go. Yep. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I see lots of good mornings. Everybody can hear me okay? Sounds okay. Okay. Yep. Looks like we might be having a time for a little breakout here. If I can get my charts to open up. All right. Something's going on with Phemex. There we go. All right, so we are still in a overall apex here on XRP, but we did have a breakout of this downward trending channel that's inside the apex. And although it was a bearish flag situation, I was hesitant to short that or to give any indication that it might go short because we were not only bouncing on major support here at $2.76, but also we wicked down very far, came right back up, and we had a lower high here, usually an indication of a breakout to the upside. We broke the downward trending resistance inside this channel. Remember, we still have this overall downward trending resistance to get through. And if we get through that, we even have this upward trending resistance up here, this white line. So if I zoom out, you'll see overall we're in an upward trending channel, this whole thing right here. And so it's kind of like Russian dolls. We are in an upward trending channel, in a bull market, upward trending, however, currently in a bullish flag pennant, downward trending resistance here, coming to the bottom. I was expecting us to hit this white line, and we still could before we break out. So when I give a signal and I put, it's like $4 for now on the TP, that's just a place mark to get it out of the way. That would be if we break out of this overall downward trending channel to the upside, then I think we can certainly come up here to the $4 range. And then I would, at that time, I would be determining whether I'm going to keep my stop loss there or not. I mean, my take profit target, because if this is the time to break out, if this is the beginning of the altcoin season, if this is the time that and it is historically this time of year at the end of a bull market, several months left. And guys, this could be different. This might not be a normal bull market. There's this last 3 months might not be the end of the bull market. We could have a super cycle. Things could be different this time. I've said that on a few other calls. Things are different in the world this time, that's for sure. We all agree on that. We have we have governments around the world, including our own, talking about crypto constantly. We have a president of the United States for the first time in history who is not only pro crypto, but even has his own crypto tokens. So does his wife, so does his sons. All of his sons, his two oldest sons, started their own crypto exchange. I mean, things are definitely different this time. So, his 5-year plan is to buy 1 million Bitcoin, and that is $100 billion worth at the current price over the next 5 years, and hold that as a reserve, a Bitcoin reserve, a US dollar reserve in Bitcoin instead of gold. Very similarly to gold reserve, it would basically be digital gold. And that is definitely different this time, right? Those things are different, but until I see a bull market cycle do something different, it's hard for me to say this time it's going to be different and we're going to just go to 500,000 or $1 million this time. Although it's possible. Yes, it is possible for this time to be different. But as we look at as we look at as we look at the overall market cap of Bitcoin dominance, we do have a little problem. I mean, it's not a problem really. It's just this is what's currently happening. So Bitcoin losing dominance, breaking the EMA ribbon on the weekly to the downside is usually an indication of altcoin season historically. And Bitcoin doesn't necessarily drop too much when this happens. It just doesn't go up as fast as some of the altcoins. So Bitcoin can still hit 130, 140, 150, 160, 170 in this bull market, which would pretty much look like this. We bounce here and we come all the way back up and retest this one more time. Boom. Altcoins go to the moon during this time. This is all the way right now from where my mouse is September 24th, current moment. And right here would be December 29th, the end of the year. Boom. And then that could, in normal times, in normal circumstances, if I'm looking at the charts only and I'm looking at historical data and I'm going by history and I'm going by bull and bear market cycles, this would usually be the end of a bull market cycle. Up here, January 1st, 2026. If this time is different, however, this could happen where we have a blow off top, we just totally just take off and never look back. And then there are no more bull bear markets. Well, there will be a bear market. There just won't be it won't be the same repeatable pattern that we've been seeing for the last 15 years, the last 4 bull market cycles, or 3.5 really, because the very first one wasn't really as developed. But yeah, so that's the problem with trying to predict the future, guys. I don't have a crystal ball. So I can honestly say that I don't know if this time is going to be different. So what I normally do when I don't know is I look at the past, I look at the history and say, well, the trend is your friend until the end. And I'm going to just assume that it's not going to be different until it shows me that it's different. But right now, nothing different yet. In fact, with all of those catalysts I just mentioned a minute ago about the president and all the countries around the world, with all of that happening, we still haven't gotten above. We're still floundering around at 110, 112 on Bitcoin. And we still haven't broken this overall market cap dominance situation going all the way back to 2017. It's still the same downward trending resistance line here. And just like back here, we broke, excuse me, guys, we broke the upward trending support and retested, dropped down to this line. And we retested this one more time before bear market. Here's a similar situation in this bull market. We broke the upward trending resistance, broke through the EMA ribbon on the weekly, and we're bouncing on the same line. And if we bounce, we come back up, we retest this one more time. Now, the price for Bitcoin, when this pumps up, could be way up there. It could be 200 grand for all I know. I'm not 100% sure where that price will take us. But and we have basically, 3 months left. We have until the end of the year for historically that to be the end of this candle here, which is the 12-month time frame. Usually, this is Bitcoin dominance chart I'm looking at, so it's a little different. If I go back to futures and we just go and look at, whoops. looking at the wrong one. Oh, I'm on the 12 month. That's why. Oh, no wonder. Why does that keep doing that?
You're in futures, you might go to crypto.
Oh, I thought I changed that already. Yeah, but I don't. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so this candle that we're in right now, guys, on the 12-month time frame, historically has been the last candle of a bull market. So, I go over this all the time, but I like to give you a refresher here. In 2013, this was the bull market top. One, two, three, four candles later. In 2017, this is the bull market top. One, two, three, four candles later. In 2021, this is the bull market top. One, two, three, four candles later in 2025. Historically, this candle, the 12-month on the 12-month chart, is the last candle of a bull market. Historically, that, but like I've been saying, this time could be different, right? But we do have 3 months and 8 days left of this candle, and this candle could shoot all the way up to 500,000. For all I know, that could happen. I mean, if it did, it would certainly stay in line with the tops of all these other candles. And as you can see, these candles that are the tops, this one, except for this one, but this one here started way down here. When it started, it went all the way back up to the top before coming back down. So it could certainly happen, guys. I would say this line right here that I have at the 180K level makes more sense. That's the 1.6 on the Fibonacci. We've gone over that many times. And that basically is a level that we've hit every single bull market cycle. And so trying to give you some big picture stuff here. That would be this right here. This blue line on the fib at the 1.6. The 1.6 would bring us to $178,000. And the 2.36 would bring us to 555. And we have hit the 2.36 every bull market except for the last one. But we've always hit the 1.6 every bull market. That's this blue line. And the last one, 2021, we hit it and we double topped on it at 68K before going to the bear market. But every other one, that's this line right here. And this is 2013 back here. You can see we went all the way to the 2.36. The 1.6 is down here somewhere. So we definitely hit that. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phases of a bull market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are in the fourth phase and we were more than halfway through. So this red line would be the 1.6, and we have 3 months left to hit it. That would be 178K. If this time is different, we could hit it sooner rather than later, break through it, and even have a bull run, have a mega power, parabolic move to the upside all the way up to 2.36. That would be amazing, right? That would be amazing. And if that does happen, then this would just be the only anomaly right here, which is 2021, because we've done it every other bull market. But when I say every other bull market, remember, there's only been, this is the fourth, technically. So that means that 3 out of 4. Well, actually, it's only 1, 2 out of 3 that hit this. I mean, I'm sorry, 3 out of 3 hit this. Only 2 out of 3 hit the 2.36. So that's still a good percentage wise, but it's not like there's been 100 of them and every single time it does this. So that means that we're only going by historical data when I look at this and I'm saying, okay, well, every time it's done this. Yeah, but every time, how many times is that? 1, 2, 2 times so far. But 3 times it's hit the 1.6, which is all 3 times. 100% of the time it hit the 1.6. And so is this time going to be different? This time was different. Last bull market, it was different because we didn't hit the 2.36. And are we having something called what is it when we have lower returns? We have diminishing returns. So what I mean by that is if I go over here and show you if I come over here and show you, let's say the rainbow chart, we do have what's called diminishing returns. As this bell curve happens here, the highs are getting lower. They're still higher than the previous highs, but they're getting lower over time as the price goes up. So here we had 1,000x from the bottom to the top. Here we might have 100x, and here we had a 15 or 20x, and here we might have a 10x. So with that being said, and we go back and look at what I was just showing you, will this time really hit 500K? 500? I mean, it's right there. I mean, look at that. That would actually bring us 555K if we did hit the 2.36 on the fib, would bring us right to this upward trending resistance line. But it would have to happen sometime in the next 3 months. Now, is it possible? Yes. Back here, we had a crazy parabolic move to the upside. If I just go to the lower timeframes and show you guys what it looks like when that happens, it is kind of insane, but it does happen. And so for instance, it's like we're here. This was, let's just say, by the way, this is 2013, but let's just say this is 2021. And we come all the way back up to this level, which is what we did. It was 68K and we came all the way back up to 73K. And then we break through it and we go all the way up to 124K, which is kind of where we're at right now, 124K. And then we come back down to retest 112. That's where we're at right now. And look what happened here. It broke above, got above the one. Let's just pretend this is current times. Got above the 125, shot up even further, retested again the 125. That would be like us pumping up to, let's say, 138, 140, coming back down to retest 125, and then breaking out again to the upside for another huge move to the upside. So it does happen. And it has happened many times, actually, several times. We go back and look at every time. So this is back in 2011 bear market. We come all the way down, we come up. We hit the previous all-time high, we break through it, kind of retest, and we went parabolic. And this would be like us going from 73K all the way up to 125. And then we have this huge pullback all the way back down to, let's say, 112. And then we break back up, we come back up, and we get up close to the 125. Let's say we're at 118, 119 here, and we just shoot through it and go all the way up to 150, 160. It happens, guys. It does happen. And it's at that last minute when it happens. If you notice, by the way, if I go and look at this move right here, this is the weekly time frame. So this is 1, 2, 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, it did this from $211 to $1,119. That is 6x more. From here, very similar here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks. That's exactly 3 months. That's exactly how much time we got left. So it can happen in a very short period of time.
Hey, Nico,
Yes.
could the Bitcoin dominance have played a role in the last bull not reaching the fifth? I mean, is there a correlation? You're going by the charts on this, but without looking at other factors that can have an impact on it. So is that a possibility of maybe why it didn't go as high last time, and maybe a predictor of how high or low, however you may figure it, it would go this time in terms of reaching the levels?
Yeah, it could have, but here's the last time. So back in 2017, we dropped all the way down the bear market and we come up and we hit previous all-time high right here at 19K. And then we break through it. This is the 2021 bull market. 2020, we break through it and get up to 41K. We have a pullback. We come back up to 41K, and then we shoot all the way up to 65K. So let's just do the math. Let's just do the math real quick here. 65K divided by 19K. That's a 3.4x to the upside. So that would be equivalent of us right here at 74K going up 3.5x more. Which would bring us to $262,000 for Bitcoin. So even though the last bull run did have a double top where we didn't get higher here and we did not make it to the 2.36 on the fib, it still had a huge run up from the previous all-time high. So in order for us to have that same run up from the previous all-time high as we did then, we would have to go up to 200 and what did I just say? I don't even know. 200 and some thousand. I can't remember what it said. What I just
262,000.
Yeah, 262,000. So it actually did. I don't know if dominance had anything to do with it. I mean, we did have Bitcoin dominance back then. We did have Bitcoin dominance waning back then because we did have an altcoin season. And then, but you know, Bitcoin was already probably up here at that time and then pulled back a little bit and had another run up, but it was still a huge upswing from the previous all-time high. Whereas here, we've had a very small upswing from the previous all-time high. We've only had not even 2x yet. We would have to be at like 140 just to be at 2x, like 146. So now there are other factors that might have caused it. We had COVID. COVID was huge, right? I mean, the whole world kind of shut down and the United States shut down, and people probably weren't caring or thinking about as much as they would be in a normal cycle. We also had the FTX scandal, which was the biggest centralized exchange promotion in crypto history with Bankman fraud or Freud. You know, the curly head kid that's in jail right now. And it was promoted by celebrities and sports stars and politicians as the safest, best thing in crypto. And people got scammed. So that took the wind out of the sails right back here. Right. So that happened and COVID was happening at the same time. So I'm going to blame it on that. I'm going to say it's that more than normal Bitcoin dominance, but we still had a huge bull market back then. From the bear market bottom, which was down here at 3,800, 3,000 down here. So we went from 3,000 to 68,000. So that was pretty, that's not bad, actually. 2,196% to the upside. And this one, so far, at 15.5, we've only gone up 664%, maybe 700%. So 7x this time, 20x last time. We would need to go up to, I would say, we would need to go up to 550 grand to even come close to last bull market. But that would keep us in this channel. That's what's happened in all the bull markets. We went up to the top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. We could go to the top. If we go to the top, then we're up here in the 550 range, which would be exactly the 2.36 on the fib right there, 555K. And then I would say this was an anomaly only because of COVID and FTX scandal. I don't know if the Bitcoin dominance had anything to do with it. I don't remember anything else really during that time because it was the strangest time in my lifetime, the whole COVID situation. Never seen anything like that happen where they literally shut down the country and the president was on TV whispering, "Get the shot, get the shot." Strangest thing I ever seen, ever. I'm sure you all remember.
100% strangest thing ever.
So, yeah. And so with all that being said, I'm kind of right in the middle, you know. If it's kind of like if this then that. If this happens, let's go back to, I mean, this is XRP, but XRP will decouple. XRP will break away from Bitcoin correlation. Probably Ethereum too. Yes. And that will be possibly before, or it could be even during or after a Bitcoin pump. But I would say that there will come a time in the near future where XRP just blows everything out of the water. That's just my gut feeling based on everything I think that I know that's going on behind the scenes. Bitcoin, Bitcoin gets to $1 million. We might have 100 to 250 to even a $750 XRP. And I know that sounds outrageous considering it's only $3 right now, $2.90, but it's not a market cap situation like everybody thinks. It's more of a an event that will automatically happen once everything switches over to the XRP networks on the Swift network, and all the financial systems get swapped over to operate on the Ripple blockchain or the XRP infrastructure, which is not a pie in the sky hypothetical situation. It is actually in the works. And only those in the know, only people that really understand what's going on are prepared for it and are front running it, meaning people like us who actually are stocking up on XRP in advance of this happening. This is the only time in crypto history that I know of that the average person can actually front run institutions and beat them to something. But they don't care. They do realize people do have large holdings of XRP, but to them, it's just a tiny fraction of the population that does. And there's nothing they can do about it. It's too late for them to do anything about it. And so they're just going to come to the conclusion that, okay, some people are going to get really rich. Oh, well, that's the way it works. That's the way the cookie crumbles. And they, but to them, even if you made $1 billion, which by the way, guys, if you have, and some people will, let's just do some math again. If you have, I don't know, 25,000 XRP times, let's just say it does get to $10,000 per XRP. That's $250 million. That's considered pretty rich, right? But is that going to break the banks? Is that going to be a problem for them if a handful of people do this? No, it's not. Just fly over to Monaco on any given day, and every single person you see has this much money, except for the tourists, except for the people there who are looking at these people. But all the people that you see pulling up in Bugattis and you know, Paganis and cars that you've never even heard of before do, and 10 times more than that. So, and then if you just walk down the marina and you realize that almost every yacht at the marina costs this much, then you realize how much money is out there that some of these people have that are just in a whole nother world. But that's just a handful of people compared to the rest of the population. So, but yeah, I mean, that's only if you had 10,000 XR or 25,000 XRP and it went to $10,000. Could it go to more than that? Yeah, it could go to times 2.5. Let's just say it went to 25,000. That's 625 million. And that's only if you had 25,000. What if you had 100,000 or 50,000? I just told a friend of mine the other day about that he should have it, and he immediately wired 100,000, I think $150,000 to Coinbase. That's 51,000 XRP times, if it goes to $20,000, that's $1 billion. Oh, and some change. 34 million more. But it becomes ridiculous after that. So but if you don't think that's going to happen, then you won't be one of the people that actually have that kind of money. Because the people who, there is a ledger somewhere out there. I don't know if Billy, if you've ever found it. I had a screenshot of it somewhere. I'll find it. It's the number of wallets holding the amount of XRP that puts them in what percentage bracket of XRP holders, like from the top 10% down to the top 5% to the top 2% to the top 1%. And it's not that many people, to be honest with you. It's not that many wallets. It's not it.
Hey, Nico, I have some questions for you I want to clarify.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So I'm new. I'm a few weeks new. I'm just grinding out, downloading the Matrix that I call it, your program, which is amazing. Now I wanted I created a sub account. I want to go. I entered at XRP and I didn't put a top. And I realized this morning you put a top in. Is that something you have to do? One, two, do you have to put a stop loss, even though I'm very pro going upwards from here on XRP above $4? Well, and a matter of fact, on any trade, you need a stop loss. Unless, like, I guess you do, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
go backwards, guys, because I'm just so bullish on XRP. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So where is your liquidation? First of all, depends on how much leverage you used, because this is going to be your stop. If you don't put a stop loss in, this will be your stop loss, your liquidation. And your liquidation means that if it comes down and hits that line right there, this on my screen. Oh, wait, I'm not sharing. Hold on one second. I thought I was sharing. Am I sharing? Can you guys see my chart?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I don't see the normal thing up here. Okay, so this
The
is
liquidation is already
XRP
created by the system if I don't put a
automatically.
stop loss
Yeah,
in?
automatically your liquidation will go in, and your liquidation is right here on your open position down here. It'll say margin ratio. It'll say estimated liquidation price. So if XRP drops down to $2.48, I will be liquidated and I will lose $1,294, which is my margin on this trade, if I don't have a stop loss. Right now, I don't have. I did put it. I'm like you sometimes. You know what you're thinking here. I did put it here. Stop loss $2.80. TP $4. Let's go back.
Yeah, and you put
Actually,
because they did $2.66 the other day, and I did do that. I just curious, like, so
yeah.
you do need a stop loss, or it'll kick you out at the liquidation price.
Well, if you put a stop loss in, the stop loss is the percentage away from your entry. So let's just look at that. Let's just go up close here. I'm going to put a stop loss in just to show you. So here's my entry way up here, right after it broke out of this. This one was late. And my liquidation is down here. So I want to stop loss somewhere between my entry and my liquidation, but you don't want it too close because you want to give it room to move. And I understand that's why you don't want to put a stop loss in. But so if I put a stop loss in, let's just say right here, $2.78. Let's go down and see what that will do. XRP USDT. I'll just click this. I'll put $2 and what did I just say? 78 cents. That's a 51% loss if it hits. Let me just hit confirm. There it is, right under that wick. So if it hits that, I will lose 51% of my $1,298. But if I don't have that and it comes down and hits my liquidation, I will lose 100% of my $1,298. So
Everything. Okay.
So your stop loss is exactly what the name implies. It's to stop your loss, stop you from losing too much, right? Now, should it be that far away is the question. That's 51% away from my entry. I mean, not 51% away, but it's 51%, meaning that's how much I would lose of my margin if it hits. So once this starts to confirm to me that this is going to continue up here, and I would say it needs to come back down and retest somewhere in here, or maybe it'll come all the way down to this line and retest. But as long as it's above this downward trending resistance and retest and starts to climb up, I will grab my stop loss and I will move it up to probably right there, which I'm going to do right now just to show you. So boom, I just moved it to right there, which is below this downward trend line. That's at $2.86. Now let's just look at what percentage that is now. It's 24%. So now I went from 51% to 24%. So now I cut my loss down another 50%. So if it hits that, now I'm only going to 20. Yeah. So you're protecting yourself. So I might have my TP up here at $4, but you don't need to keep that there. And you don't need a TP to answer your first question. You don't need a TP, especially if you're in it for the long haul. If you're in it for the long haul and you just want to let that sucker go for weeks and weeks and weeks and months.
That's why I put into a sub account. That's the one thing I bought it low. I'm just going to let it ride. And I'm glad you showed me the adjust the stop loss, because with the announcements coming up, the EFTs coming up in October,
yes,
I feel like it's going to keep rising.
I do too. And so here's what I would say would be the best move. When this gets up, and let's say it finally does break out, and we know now, okay, shit, it's on. We're breaking out of this downward trending resistance here. We're climbing. We're starting to get up here above this halfway mark, maybe $3.30. I would just move your stop loss to inside the profit zone, a little bit above break even, maybe a little bit more, because there's no reason to just break even if it drops on you. And then just leave it there. That way, worst case scenario, in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, if there's a huge dump all the way back down, at least you don't lose anything. Okay. But you won't make any money if that happens. You won't make much because it'll come all the way down close to your entry. But at least it'll take you out of that trade with no loss. And so and when you set up that way, at least what you're doing is you have all the benefits of the gain in your favor and none of the negatives of the opposite happening. So as long as you move your stop loss inside, even if it's just to break even, like right above this, right above your entry. Now, what I would do, and that's only once it's up here, I will do that. And then once it gets
you want to make sure it's going up. Yeah.
Yeah. Once it gets really high and breaks out of this and we're up in the $4 range and we're at new all-time highs and everything's going great like that, then I will move my stop loss 50% of the way into profit, maybe up to here somewhere, because now I don't think it's going to come, it's going to come, it may come and retest the $4 because that's the upward trending resistance line. So in other words, if it does finally break out of this, boom, shoots up to 440, it might come down and retest this and bounce. So I want to keep my stop loss under that level somewhere. But if it does come back below this, I'd rather just go ahead and let it take me out and take all the profit that I made from here to here. At least get that, right? And then if it does bounce and goes back up above this, then just enter long again. But at least, that's basically trading in a nutshell. But if you don't want to, and you're okay with all these ups and downs and these swings along the way, then you just leave it all where it's at. You have no TP, you write it out, do this in a sub account. and don't do it with everything you have, because there could be, obviously there's volatility, as you can see here, where we can go up pretty high and then drop all the way back down. And we could do that again here, where we go up pretty high all the way to $4 and then drop all the way back down over here to, $3.15 again. It's possible. Doesn't mean it will, but I think once we break
Yeah, it's
out of
hard
the
to
$4
say.
range, yeah, once we break out of the $4 range or the 368 and we make a new high, and this is the one you got to look out for right here. Once we get above this and hold that as resistance. So all I do is you just take a line and draw it from there to here. Once we get above that and hold as resistance and start to climb, that's new all-time high territory. Then generally speaking, what will happen is the same thing that happened here. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Because, we had a high here. We had a high here. We had a little bit higher here. We're only getting a little bit higher, but we keep coming back down. So technically speaking, we would need to, this doesn't show it here, but somewhere back in 2018, I believe we were up here somewhere at $3.50 or so. I can't remember. Where we had this huge spike to the upside. Let me just go to.
And I guess my second question is from the call last night, I was reviewing some stuff and I just wanted to be clear on my thought was, so we're in a trade. So I say, so like, let's just hypothetically, I'm in the trade for XRP and I wanted to add contracts or add leverage. I can't. So if I bought it like 284, it's not. It affects the payout or P&L. I'm gonna say from my own language, it's gonna be different, I'm sure. Um, so if I want to add more contracts and add more leverage, I have to wait for it to equal out at the same around the same price I originally bought it at. Because if it goes up, say if I bought it 284 and then I want to add more contracts at like 315 and more leverage, then it's gonna throw everything off, and I guess that's a red flag, I guess, in our industry, or
No,
does that make any sense?
I would say once we get confirmation, maybe at above the $4 range, somewhere up here. I would say I would wait for that. I would wait for above $4 before you do that. That's and don't take this the wrong way, but when most people do that, it's just greed kicking in. And
100%.
nothing wrong
I
with
guess I
it.
was just hypothetically, I guess at what point, because I know we were discussing last night adding contracts and how can it affect the overall trade for yourself. And I might have misunderstood it. That's why I want to
Oh,
understand
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, I'm just going to tell you what happens when you do it. So if you bounce here and we get above this overall upward trending support in the $4 range up here, and we hold that as support, that would be a good time to add contracts and possibly leverage. You don't want to increase your leverage without adding an equal amount of contracts. So in other words, equal, when I say equal, I mean, if you go from 5x leverage to 10x leverage, that's going to cut your margin in half that you currently have. So you would have to double the amount of contracts. So let's just say you have 1,000 contracts at 10x leverage or 5x leverage. That means you're trading with $200 of margin, because you, generally speaking, whatever the amount of contracts you have, you divide it by the amount of leverage you have. So if you have 1,000 contracts at 5x leverage, you divide 1,000 by 5, and that's how much you're actually risking on that trade. But if it goes up to $4, let's say, and you want to double your leverage from 5x to 10x, you better double your contracts from 1,000 to 2,000
Okay.
in order to
Okay.
be the
So
same
yes.
as where you were.
And does it matter? Do I have to, because I notice when I play with the leverage, the contracts, it like I don't know if I can see the screen
The only
properly or
thing
right.
leverage, guys, I beat this up on the basic call because this is so very important. The only thing that leverage does is it lowers your cost in the trade. It lowers the amount of margin you put in the trade, period. It does not affect your P&L. It does not affect your stop loss. You set your risk at the stop loss price, and you can change your leverage from 10x to 100x. Your profit will not change from your TP. You'll still make the same dollars. you'll still lose the same dollars at the stop. The only thing that changes is the amount of money you put in your margin. So if you're in a profitable trade and you want to take some of your money off the table, lower your or increase your leverage. Okay, that's really the only reason to ever mess with it.
Unless you add
Does that
more
make-
content.
Unless you add more contracts, like Nico saying, if you're going to double down, if you're going to increase, yeah, that makes sense. But other than that, I would leave
In
it
other
alone.
words,
People get in
if
trouble.
your goal for increasing your leverage is because you want to make more money as it continues up, then you need to add a lot more contracts and margin to your trade.
Yes,
And when you do
that's the
that,
only way.
yeah, and when you do that, for instance, let's say this does this. Let's say you have $1,000 on this trade, right? And it goes up and it gets all the way up to here and does what we're just talking about. It bounces here and starts to go up. And you're like, shit, this is what Nico was talking about. Oh man, I wish I would have had more money on this trade. That's what everybody says. That's what the greed kicking in. Nothing wrong with it, by the way. It's just that's what happens. That's human nature. And then you're like, man, if I would have known this was going to happen, I would have bet 5,000 instead of 1,000. So what you do is you increase your leverage from 10x to 50x. Well, as soon as you do that, your $1,000 that you were risking here, this is what happens. Your $1,000 gets divided by 50 because you just went up to 50x leverage. Now you only have $20 on this trade. Now you're at 100, you're at 50x leverage. But if this continues to go up in price, and let's just say this continues to climb, you're all excited. But you're wondering, why am I not making a lot more money? Because you're making the same amount of money that you would have made with $1,000 and hardly no leverage. But now that you're at 1,000x leverage, you're risking $20. But at 1,000x, I'm sorry, you're risking $20, but 50x leverage. So now you're making the same amount of money that you would have made with $1,000 and no leverage.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So the only way to combat that is when you raise your leverage to 50x, that you also 50 times the amount of money that you want to play with. Now you're trading at 50x leverage with the right amount of money, this as if you would have started down here with 50x leverage and $1,000. See what I'm saying? So now, if you do that here, what happens is your entry that was here moves to up here somewhere. So now your entry is much closer to the current price. Your stop loss is you can't put a stop loss in there. Now you don't have as much room for it to move. Now you have to wait for it to go up to move your stop loss up to break even or in profit. So this is why I call it the greed factor, because it is taking a much bigger risk doing that. So
And
how do you
so you're saying closer, just to clarify, you were saying so like closer, or you just mentioned, so if I add more contracts, it adds it at the price I added them at.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it does. It adds those new contracts at the price that you added them at. But if you let's say you had 1,000 contracts here and you add 1,000 here, then your entry will adjust to 50% of the way here. If you add an equal amount of contracts that you
So
already
dollar
had.
cost averaging, it does that, it sounds like.
Yeah, it basically just brings it halfway to where your current entry is. So your current entry is here with 1,000 contracts. Your original entry was here with 1,000 contracts. Your new entry will be 50% of the way. It'll be right here somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Now, if you had 1,000 contracts here and you doubled the amount of contracts here to 2,000, then your new entry would be right up here, closer to your current amount. So it all depends on how many more contracts you add. But also, if you don't add more contracts with the leverage that you're increasing, nothing really changes as far as the amount of money you're just risking less. So your margin will drop. And I can show you right now. See, look down here, $1,300. That's how much I have in my margin. I'm at 7x leverage on this trade. If I change my leverage on this trade, am I on that one? Hold on a second. No. Let's go down to the one that I'm currently on. I'm at 10x leverage right here. And I have $427 on this trade. This is the bottom one, XRP USDT. So just look at this, 427. If I change my leverage from 10x to 15x, let's just say, I'll just double it just so you can see. Let's go to 20x. 20x. Watch, what did I say it was? 400 something. Let me just get rid of this so you can see it on the same screen. $427. Shit, I can't have them both on there at the same time. 427. Just remember that. That's the price down here. If I go up here and change this to 20x leverage, it's going to go from 427. There it is, 20x. Confirm. Boom. You see my liquidation moved up a little bit closer to my entry, and I went from 427 to 215. The amount of money I'm risking now got cut in half because I doubled the leverage.
That makes sense. Okay. I guess I
So
just feel like
if,
the entry I had the other day was a little light. I only put 1,000 XRP at five, well, the 5%. I just kind of my strategy on that one was just let it sit and ride as far as I could. I don't know. I got
now
to rethink it. I don't want to
let
get
me ask
greedy,
you, when
like
you
you're
say
saying.
1,000 XRP, you mean 1,000, are you on an XRP margin or
Coin
USD?
M, yeah.
You're on CoinM, okay. And so you have 1,000 XRP in your USD or 1,000 contracts.
1,000 contracts.
Okay, so look over here to your margin. How much money is that? That should be 3 times more than
3,000. It was like 2,800
okay.
USDT.
Yeah, so almost 3 times more money that you have on it, right? So so what was your
I guess I just
leverage?
gotta rethink. I don't want to get greedy. Like I appreciate you saying the greed thing because it's one of my sub accounts where I'm just kind of like it's a long play. It's gonna
No,
be
I
something I
understand.
set it, forget it. So
Yeah, no, I like that. I like you doing that. I talk about that a lot to do that. It's just that you got to set your parameters correct. Otherwise, you might be taking more. So what leverage do you have? Did you say 5x?
I think let me just double check. I think it's 10x
Okay.
already.
And then just look where your liquidation.
Okay, I just gotta check it.
But doing that, Nico, that changes your liquidation. Doesn't it bring your liquidation up?
Yeah, my liquidation moved up closer to my entry when I just did that. Yep. So I'm taking more risk now, but I'm taking more risk with less money, half the amount of money. So that's why now what I would need to do on this trade is add more contracts since I did that. And I don't know how many I just cut it down on. Just, what was it again? It was 400 and some dollars. I was at 4,273, 4,272 contracts, USDT. If I do that again right now and click open, I'm basically adding, watch this. I just added, now I'm up to 8,800 contracts and I'm right back up to $440. But now I'm at 20x leverage instead of 10. So I just did what I just told you to do, is that if you're going to increase your leverage, you need to increase your contracts equally to the amount that you cut it when you increase your leverage. Whatever the leverage increase is, divide it by 2 and add that much contracts back. I know it's math. I know it's kind of confusing, but if you guys need further explanation on that, definitely get on Bill's basics call today at 2 p.m. and he'll go over that in more detail.
Yeah, we break that down in as much detail as possible because it's so important.
So Nico, I guess it's showing I have my margin set well 73 RXP. Yeah, my margin is 215 USD, 73 XRP, 10x long.
Your
My
margin
size is
should
726.
726. Okay. And your margin is what did you say? 70?
Margin is 73 XRP or 215 USD.
Yeah, because on this one I'm at 441 XRP, $1,299 at 7x leverage. So a lot of people, like, you see a lot of people in the wins wall with 80x leverage, 100x leverage, all this stuff. And you'll probably notice I don't do that very often. I don't generally go for the greed factor. I like more consistent wins, more realistic. It's not that those are unrealistic. It's when you're scalping, if I went 80x or 100x leverage on most of my trades, I would make more money, probably. Probably would. But my liquidation is so close to the entry when you do that. It's so close, it gives you no room for error. And so a lot of people increase their leverage to 100x after they're already in profit. And I think that sometimes, erroneously speaking, they think that that's going to increase the amount of money they make when they do that, which is not the case unless you change all those other factors as well.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump on the basics call today too and learn some more about that stuff. I might just keep the entry there because that's just based on no TP, so that's just calculating whatever it is right now.
Hold on one second, guys.
Hey, Nico, with your signal today, I was in some XRP trades from last week and got it at a better entry. Would you move your stop loss up to the one you stated today? The week before, we got knocked out by that deep wick down to like 267 or whatever it was, 266.
I apologize. I was responding to some to my attorney. Can you repeat that one more time?
With your signal today, I got in at a better entry. Would you move your stop loss up to your suggestion? The last or a trade before that, when that wick went down to 266, we got taken out at the stop loss. Do you think that'll happen again?
This one here.
Yes.
I mean, we are bouncing. It did bounce above this level here, which was a major support level going all the way back at 276 here, going all the way back for a while. So we had resistance and support here on the way up, support, and support again here, and we are breaking out of the downward trend. So, I mean, depends. Are you in a long-term hold for forever, or is this a more of a swing trade or a scalp for you? Because if you're just going to hold it until it comes up to here, we could hit this right here at $3, and it could possibly come all the way back down to 277 here. So I would say my stop loss right now on this one is at 290. Let's just go look here. 286 to be exact. 286, the one I just moved. And that is right here. It's possibly too close because this could come down and retest this level. I'm going to keep an eye on it. If I see it coming down here again to retest this upward trending resistance as support, I will possibly just move it out of the way just temporarily to see if it goes, to see if it's just going to wick right there and then bounce up. Because I am thinking that we were in a little bit of this line may not even be valid right here. We were in what I thought was a little bit of a bullish flag. I mean, a bearish flag here. And we broke out right here. Let's see if I have this drawn correctly. Yeah. And we're broken out, but where could it come back down and retest the top of this? Yep. But I don't think it's going to come back all the way back down again right now after this breakout. In fact, we look like a nice big W forming. Let's go to the daily, see what this looks like. Got a nice strong candle breaking out of the downward, this downward trend right here, guys, from the top to the bottom, plus this long wick down is indicating a bottom to me on this. So we have a nice strong candle breaking out, and looks like a little bit of a W on the 4-hour break to the upside, possibly going to bring us right up to this level up here somewhere, if I were to guess. Maybe even further. That would make sense to me. I'm sorry if I didn't answer. If I don't even remember the question. Again, I apologize. I'm getting distracted here. I got messages popping up on my other screens from 10 people here at once, but
That's okay. I think I understand. My liquidation is down at 261, so even if I had my stop loss up at 266, that wouldn't happen. But
yeah,
I'm gonna move it up to 280.
I would. Yeah, I mean, and you could wait a minute. I mean, you could, especially if you're paying attention. If you're paying attention and you're watching, there's no rush. I mean, I don't think it's going to just dump right back down real fast, but overall, I think XRP is poised for a big move to the upside faster than most people will be ready for. But I don't know when. That could happen now, and it could happen in November. So, but
Well,
I
I
think
want this long term, so I'm gonna hold it there then.
yeah, cool. Yeah, just don't move your stop loss too close.
Do you think that's going to take the other ISO
Say again,
2002
Matt?
coins? Do you think that's going to take the other ISO coins up with it? Like the ADA?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
HBAR
mean,
and
yes, I do. But I mean, I have some of those. I have a little bit of all of them, but nowhere near as much as I have an XRP. And if XRP does what we think it might do, then it really doesn't matter about those other ones to me. I mean, could HBAR go to $100 or $500 in the future? Possibly, yes. I mean, I guess, yes. So is it worth having a lot of it? Yeah. But if HBAR ever does hit $500, then XRP is probably already at 2,500 or $1,000 or 5,000 or something like that. And I think that if you plan that properly, it won't matter.
So Nico, if I'm understanding correctly, if you believe that XRP is going to go to $5 or $10 or even $100, along that path, it will do the things that you're technically showing, and there
Yes.
will be a multitude of things that we can do to secure our positions, secure better positioning as it moves along these technical indicators. Is that
That's correct.
okay?
So, and not only that, but I'm buying and holding in a cold storage wallet. Let's just say I'm buying and holding. It's just sitting there. I'm not trading it at all. And I just keep accumulating. Okay. That's one strategy. That's hodling, and just want to have a bunch of it so that whenever this event happens, and let's say it shoots up to, it could shoot up to $4 or $5 and then consolidate like this. Like, let's just say that this is where we're at right now. This is the apex that we're in right now, and it does this. But I mean, look at it, guys. This has already happened in this group. We were long down here. Anybody on here that's been around for a while can attest to this. We got screenshots of it in our group. We were at 1,200% gain when we were at 49 cents for XRP. We were long, and we had our stop loss right under this line. And this was right about when we were waiting for the SEC announcement as to whether that we're going to pursue the lawsuit against XRP or not. And XRP pumped from here to here. It was a 1,200% gain like that day. It wasn't like over weeks or months. It was quick. It was fast. So, I mean, it was like, that was 129% right there. And that was pretty much on the 4 hour over like a day. And then it just went up to $1.63, pulled back. And then, so let me just do a time frame for you here. This was all the way up to 459% up from November to December. So that's a month. In 1 month, it did this 415%. So if we had that same thing happen, it's not going to happen. It may not be while you're sleeping, but if it does happen and we have a 450% move to the upside, it's going to be crazy. You know, that could happen in a month, guys, where we go up to $20 or $17, $16, $15. It has happened already on XRP. So, and that was when we were at 49 cents. If we go back even further, if you guys remember back when we were, let's just zoom in a little further here. Look at this one. Another very similar situation back here when XRP was 58 cents in a upward trending support. And did this. Oh, this might have been the one I was talking about. This might have been the pump I was talking about. All the way up to 93 cents from 40. That was a 2x right there. So it happens. I mean, this was in a moment. This was instant. This was like that day. Let me zoom in. This is a 4-hour candle. So that's 4, 8 hours. Boom. So I would just hate, and this is what happens. I see it in this group a lot. I mean, look at this, guys. This happens. I see it in this group a lot where people they're in the group almost every day. I see them commenting, and then all of a sudden something happens and they're like, damn, I was out mowing my lawn and I missed it. Damn, I was at work today or I was at the store and I missed it. I'm like, what about the last 3 weeks when we were telling you to get ready for it? The last 3 months. How could you miss it? A move like this? It's what it is. It's not that they really missed it. It's that they didn't prepare for it because they didn't think it was going to happen yet. And all I'm trying to tell you guys is that when it happens, you know, most people are not prepared and most people will not be prepared. And that's why most people don't get rich. That's why most people don't have rock hard abs that you can see when they take their shirt off, because most people aren't willing to do what it takes to be ready for the time that the boat party happens and they say, hey, we're going on the boat. Are you ready? You ready to take your shirt off on the boat? Or have you been eating Twinkies for the last 6 months? So I use these analogies because if this happens while you're sleeping and we pump up in an 8-hour period, 200% on XRP, and we get up to $8, $9, $10 overnight while you're sleeping, are you ready? Are you going to be in the group saying, shit, I missed it. What happened? Oh man, I was sleeping. No one gave me a signal. I was probably sleeping too. But I'll wake up pleasantly surprised because I'm in the open positions already. So all I'm saying, guys, is don't sit on, you know, if you don't believe that this is going to happen, then don't do anything. Don't worry about it. But I believe it is. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of smart people in the space that are going to be not just millionaires, but deca millionaires and possibly even centurion millionaires. I don't even know if that's a word, but $100 million plus gains when this thing starts to really do what we think it's going to do. But yeah. So, but to answer your question, I think that was who was that, Jay?
Yeah, that was me.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there is lots of consolidation. There is lots of ups and downs along the way up, but there could be a huge spike up first before. In other words, we could see one of these, boom, and then consolidation. So you would have time, obviously, to enter back in here, but you would miss this. You know, could be time to enter back in here, but you would miss this. So I would do like Matt was talking about earlier when Matt was, I think it was Matt was asking about getting set up with a long, you can come up here, guys, and you can set up multiple sub accounts right up here. You just come down to sub accounts and you can add sub accounts. Then you just put a little money in each one. So let's just say you have 3 sub accounts and one of them is where you're going to just go long in a long position and just hold it. When I say long, I mean you're betting that the price is going to go up, and long hold position, meaning you're willing to sit in that trade for weeks or months. Open. And then you have another account where you're scalping, where you get in here, you get it, you get out here, you go short here, you get in here, you get out here, something like that. That's different. That's, I do that too. I do that all the time. Most of the trades that you see me do are scalps. I mean, if I close all 3 of these out right now, I'm up $276. Okay, that's nothing special. That's nothing to write home about. But if it does go up to where I think it can, which is right here to the top of this, let's just do the math here. From the entry position that I'm in right now, right here, and it does hit the top of this overall upper channel, that's a 35% move to the upside. Now, before you say, oh, that's not that much, let's just do the math. I'm at 20x leverage. So 35% times 20 is 700%, right? So that's not bad. And that's not even breaking out of this channel yet. So we're using the leverage to collapse time, as we say in Crypto Renegades. It's the crypto wormhole for a reason. We're collapsing time because, now don't get me wrong, 35% is still a huge move. Without any leverage at all, that's 35% move. But with leverage, you get 10x leverage, that's 350%, 100x leverage, 3,500%.
Hey, Nico, I got one more clarification thing.
Yes.
So basically, so there was 1,000 XRP, 2,800 USD. I just based that trade I was telling you about just based off the what I learned in the so far in the course about, and I just was just being conservative. So I guess did I do it right? I did it at the 5%. You guys were saying, I guess the like more confident again, I could probably do a little bit more, but I guess as of right now, how green I am, that the 5%, the calculation I did it, that the correct way to do it?
5%. When you say 5%, are you talking about the leverage, or are you talking about the amount of money that you're risking out of your account?
Amount of money I'm risking out of my account.
I mean, it's safe.
Safe, yeah. You want to
It's
play it
safe.
safe.
It's not high
You don't want
risk.
to get greedy.
Yeah, so it just depends on your risk tolerance. Everybody's different, but when you're new, we don't really recommend you risking more than that. I mean, if you risk 10% of your account, so let's just say you have, for the sake of this example, let's say you have $10,000 in your account. If you don't, and you have 1,000 or you have 500, just do the math based on what you have. But let's say you have $10,000 total in your account, and you risk 10% on a trade. That's $1,000. That's how much you have risked. And then you put a 10% stop loss on that. Now you're really only risking $100.
Safe, yeah.
And that $100 is 1% of your entire account balance. So if it goes against you and hits your stop loss, you're going to lose $100, but you could lose 100 trades in a row at 1% before you blow through your $10,000. So that's not going to happen in this group. we have a much higher win ratio than 0. And so now, on the other hand, if you have $10,000 in your account and you're risking 5%, like you just said, of your account balance, you're risking $500 on the trade. And if you don't have a stop loss at 10%, then you're risking $500 instead of $50. And so if it hits that $500, how many trades can you do that before you lose all $10,000? 20, right? How many?
20.
So that's big difference between 100. So what we're trying to do with the stop losses and the percentage risks on your trades is lower your risk until you become consistently profitable. And when and even then, guys, it's even just as important, if not more important, when you're consistently profitable, to still use proper risk management, because this is the big mistake a lot of people make. They get overly cocky, overly confident when they become consistently profitable, and they start risking more because they're like, well, shit, I'm a winner. I know how to do this now. Why not I just go, full force and bet the whole farm here because I'm good at this now. And then that's the trade. That's the one where you give it all back. That's the one that takes you out. That's the one that does something that you didn't expect to happen. And so, so if you just, and it's boring to stay consistently profitable. It's boring to keeping your risk low and to just grow your account slowly over time. It's boring. It's kind of like getting your rock hard abs to show so that you're ready for boat season. It's boring to exercise every day. It's boring to eat properly every day, having the same stupid meal every day, knowing that it's good for you, knowing that you're burning fat, knowing that you're getting to your goal. It's still boring. And people cheat. And then they go and have chocolate cake and cookies and blow up their diet. And so that's the same thing that happens in trading. I know I like to use analogies a lot, guys, but it's because it's just so true in almost everything. And so the problem is people get complacent because it's boring to do things the right way, even though it works and it gets you to your goal. I just want you guys, when you become consistent, that's right, Keith, it's discipline. That's all it is. It's straight up discipline. And if you can get disciplined at this and be consistently profitable, and just because what happens is you might have 10,000 in your account and you might be risking, let's just say 10%. For the sake of this example, that's $1,000. But when you get up to 100,000 in your account and you're risking 10%, still, you keep your risk the same. Now you're risking 10 grand on the trade instead of 1,000. And then you have a 10% stop loss on that. And now the most you can lose is $1,000 on that trade instead of 100. But if it goes the right way, and you make, let's just say it does this and it goes up 35%, but you're at 10x leverage, that's 350%, but that's 350% of the 10,000 that you had on that trade. Now you're making 35 grand on trades, but you're still risking the same boring 10% with a 10% stop loss. The only thing that's changing is your account is growing and you're trading, making a lot more per trade. And that's just when you get to 100 grand, guys. I mean, there's guys I've traded with in other platforms that have 6 million in their account. And they're trading with very low leverage, like 5x leverage. So on this trade, on 35%, they got 6 million in their account, but they're trading with, let's just say, 10% of their account balance. That's 600,000. This thing goes up 35% times 35%. They make 210,000, but they're at 5x leverage, very low, because the more money you have, the less risk you want to make. They just made $1 million on this trade, risking 600 grand, but and they also had a 10% stop loss. So they're really only risking 60 grand. So you take the 1,050,000 and divide that by the 60,000 risk. That's a 17-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But it's all relevant. It's all relevant to how much you have. So, and I know that sounds outrageous, but it's the same as us making the same 35% with $50 in our account or $100 or $5,000. The only thing that's changing is the amount of money they have in their account. They're still using proper risk management, which makes it so if they lose, percentage wise, they're not risking any more than you are. If you do this the
Nico,
right
can
way.
you do that math one more time, just using $1,000, just so I can write it down on my end?
You have $1,000 in your account. Is that what you're saying? Or $1,000 at risk?
$1,000 in the account.
Okay. So if you have $1,000 in your account total and you want to risk, let's just say 10% of it, you're only going to be risking $100 on the trade. 100 bucks in your, that's your margin down here. This goes up 35% like this trade here. That's $100 times 35%. You just made $35. And let's just say you were at 20x leverage. I don't know what you're at, but that would be 700 bucks. So you have $1,000 in your account, but you're only risking 100. The price went up 35%, which would normally just be $35 but you're at 20x leverage, so it's $35 times 20. So you just made 7x on that trade, 700% or $700.
How would you set the stop loss on that example there to make sure you only lose that $100?
Great question. So
losing more than that on my stop loss when it does way beyond what the says.
So you come down here after you enter your position, like this one right here, I don't have a stop loss on. So I'm already in the position. I entered it at $2.87. I have $1,200 margin. I'll come over here to TPSL. That stands for take profit stop loss. I'll click the little pencil down here and I'll, instead of typing in the dollar, the price that I want to be stopped out at, I'll come over here to ROI percentage and click on that. And what it's going to do, let me get rid of that. You see right here, ROI percentage. I'll put that at 10%. Confirm. Boom. So I just put my stop loss at 10%. That's $2.83. Let's go look at it, what it looks like on the chart. This is XRP USD. So this is XRP on an XRP margin right here. So here's my entry. Here's my stop loss right under it at 10%. I didn't have one before. I just added that, but that's how I did it at 10%. So what that means is I'm risking $1,295 on this trade. That's my margin. But because I put my stop loss at 10%, I'm really only risking $129, 10% of my $1,295.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Give or take a few dollars for fees and all that stuff, which are low. Bill put estimating and entering risk and calculating ROI. A link in the meeting chat here, and if you click on that, it will take you to the Discord group where he has this, and that is in the help desk. So if you go to help desk and you just click the little pin message up here, you can come down to
that one's not in. That one comes from the FAQs, but you know what? It deserves to be pinned there. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I would pin it. Yeah, pin it in there. But here it is. Yeah, so this is a good explanation. Never risk more than 1 to 3% until you get really good at this, guys. I mean, yes, I risk 10, 15% sometimes. Sometimes I'll put my contracts to 20% because I'm confident in what I'm doing. But until then, until you get really confident, risk a small amount of your total trading capital. So if you got 10 grand, you want to risk between 1 and 3% until you become consistently profitable. In other words, don't make those first trades, guys, to try to make a fortune. Make these trades to get good at this. It's like if you ever bought a PS5 gaming system. Anybody got PS5?
I haven't had a video game systems. I haven't had anything since the original Xbox. I gave it all up.
So I used to go to the arcade. I was like a pro. I mean, my friend Joe and I back in the day, back in the 80s, we would have hundreds of people standing around us at the arcade watching us beat asteroids or space invaders, and the news would be there and shit because it was a big competition. Chris says Atari. Yeah, Atari, Sega Genesis, all these games back then. Well, here's the funny thing. I just bought a PS5 because my girlfriend's son, who's 7 years old, is like a little pro at this. He's got a PS5 and he was showing me these games. And I was like, oh, I can do this. I used to play video games back when I was your age. So I got one for my house so that when he comes over, I can play against him. Oh my God. Holy cow. I was in for a rude awakening. I mean, the advances in technology are insane. Instead of 2 buttons, one going up, one going sideways, one going left, one going right, there's 17 buttons where you can change the camera view. You can go forward, you can jump, you can duck, you can pull out guns, you can do all this crazy stuff, right? And man, I look like I have no brain at all when I'm trying to, just do anything. So it like takes a lot to learn this. It takes a lot to learn that stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to win a competition in the video game. I'm just trying to understand what I need to do just to move forward and jump over a rock, right? I'm just trying to understand the basics. And that's what we're trying to tell you here. In the beginning, just get the feel for things. Understand how to go long, how to go short, understand how to enter and exit, and just get to the point where you're consistently profitable, even if the amount of profit is small in the beginning, because it doesn't matter. Because if you become consistently profitable, guys, making 20 bucks, 50 bucks, or $10 per trade, just become consistently profitable. Now you have proven proof of concept, you know it works. And now it's a matter of now depositing more or risking 5% now or 10%. Once you become consistently profitable, you can increase this to 5% or 8% or 10%, right? And then you can also deposit more. You don't even have to change this. Leave it at 1 to 3%, but just deposit more in your account. Still be trading 1 to 3%. Yeah, League of Space Invaders, nothing better. I was an expert at that, but now when you look at that compared to the games they have, they're so realistic. It's like virtual reality. It's insane how technology has changed now. So, but guys, you gotta just get your feet wet. You gotta jump in. You gotta take the trades. You gotta play the video game in order to understand it. You're gonna get killed 100 times. You're gonna get squashed by the monster. You don't really know what's happening, but you just got to keep at it until you figure it out. But with this, you got money at risk. So you want to keep at it until you figure it out, but you want to keep at it with a small amount of money at risk. So you're not losing a lot when you lose. I am left-handed, Ted. So I know all about that. For sure. All right, guys.
I pinned that under estimating risk and calculating ROI in the help desk so everybody can find it easier.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. So what do we have here on Coinbase on the 4-hour, on XRP on the 4-hour chart is we did break above. We've done that once. There's a couple. I could put this up here too, guys. It doesn't really matter. We didn't get to the top yet, but if we look at it this way, there was a moment where it almost looks like we did already. I'm going to put this down here. Break above this downward trending resistance. Here, we did it. We obviously there's a line there because we hit it as resistance. Let's look at it like this. We hit it here as resistance. We broke through and held as support. We pumped up a little higher. We hit it as support, 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 support. We came up a little higher, lower high, dropped back down and fell right back through it, all the way back down to the bottom. This is what I mean by it could do this overnight where it just falls right through back down. So you don't want you don't want to be too negative. If my stop loss was way down here, I would have been okay because it would have then climbed back up. I would have went from negative back into positive. But what if it doesn't climb? What if it goes below this line? What if it goes below this line and then holds as resistance and starts to drop? Then you're going to be mad that you didn't have a stop loss. Now that it's above this line again, that's good, but it really does need to make a new high, which is up here in the $3.13 range. It is getting up to this level here.
Do you think it will make that $3.13 by the end of the week or no?
It looks like it's trying, and it did hit this downward trend, this bottom support level here, and it did break out of this downward trending resistance here. There is another one. It depends on where you draw the lines, guys, but that's one. And the next one would be trying to touch the tops of all of these, which would bring us up to about here. Doesn't really touch the tops. There's a couple ways to do it. The reason why it's okay that these go through it here is because they never held above it. So if we look up close, you'll see there was resistance right there. Boom, that line. We went above it, but we didn't hold above it. And we came back below and we retested. Boom. Retest, retest, retest. Above it, support, support, support. Below it, resistance, resistance, resistance. Above it and below it. So there is technically a line there. And if we bring that straight across to the tops here and then all the way to the tops here, we did get above it, but did not hold. We zoom in, resistance, went above it, support, came back below, resistance, 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 above it, support, support, back below, resistance. So technically there's a line there too. So there's a line here and a line there. So I would say that the next resistance will be right here at $3.02, somewhere in this range. And then if we break that, I mean, we could come back down and retest. That is possible, just like it did here. And then we would have a high, a lower high, and a lower high. That's possible. And that would not necessarily be good in the short term. But if it does break above this instead and gets above this level and holds as support and gets higher than this level and holds that as support, then we're definitely off to the races, guys. Then this will be the big breakout that will bring us back up to this level up here that we were just talking about up here in the $4 range. I would say the next resistance after that, there will be a couple of resistance levels. There'll be one here at $3.38, and there'll be one here at the previous high up here at $3.68. But but if we're on our way and we break above this and then break above this, and we're on our way to this, there will be support and resistance. There'll be some resistance here, support, resistance here, and support. It's not just going to go clean through those levels. It will hit some resistance on the way. But if it gets above this right here, $3.13 and holds, then I think it will be on its way to $3.35. We are profitable on the signals that I gave, and I did give ETH long last night after midnight, and we are up on that one. Let's just go to ETH and look at it. Let's go see what's going on here, because we did bounce. It's not pumping up really high right now. We did have this level of support resistance here, which was support here, and we hit it twice here. Boom, double bottom. That usually is a good sign that we could break out. We also broke out of, on the lower time frames, a downward trending resistance, which doesn't mean much on the lower time frames. But if we take this and we look at this on a higher time frame, we got a ways to go. There's a lot of chaos going on this chart. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. This was a major support resistance level that we broke through, and we are underneath it now. And we're kind of in between major support here at the 4,070 range and the bottom of this little channel, which was resistance and support. This whole zone right here, which we did drop below, and we hit it here as resistance. So we need to get back above that and break this little bit of a downward trending resistance here, which could look like this. Then we're out of the weeds here. We want to see, but also keep in mind, guys, this could also be a little bit of a bearish flag that we have here on ETH. So it needs to, but whenever there's a bear flag, normally they break to the downside. This one did right here, boom, and retested that and came right back up into the flag, because this is up against major support. So anytime you see a bear flag, it normally breaks to the downside unless it's up against major support. So I would say that this is going to be one of those fake outs where people might be short. Let's go look at liquidity on. I mean, we do have some down there on Bitcoin still at the 111 range, but it looks like it's going to be slicing through this up here first, possibly up to the 114, 115. Let's look at yeah, I think we're getting ready to pump up a little bit here to probably 115 on Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin because XRP is still kind of correlating. It's pumping. It's trying. XRP Bitcoin also had a little bit of a bearish flag. And what did it do is it was up against the same kind of resistance here at the 112 and 112 right there. And it did wick down, but it didn't hold underneath and it came back up and then came above this whole flag. So to me, I think we're due for a breakout. This looks like a nice W pattern as well. I think this might be going into the rest of the week. We could finally be bouncing off this 112. Let's look at one more thing here. We're going to wrap it up because we do got the basics call coming up, guys, which I highly recommend you get on, especially even if you think you know everything. Get on basics. Let's go look at some of these. I'm going to go to Market Cipher B. On Market Cipher, we are coming back up to retest on the daily, the EMA ribbon. I mean, we did flip it bearish here, and then we broke back above it here and held the support, and then flipped bearish again here, and we are coming back up. And you see this blue line right here, that is the 50-day moving average. And I will show you in the last bear market, in the last bull market, I should say. Oh, this is XRP. I gotta go to Bitcoin. Right here, the last time we flipped it bearish back in 2021, I'm sorry, this is not 2021. This is 2025. This was back in January when we hit 108 and then we hit 109. We flipped the EMA ribbon bearish on the daily time frame, and we came back up and retested that blue line right there, which is the 50-day moving average. We actually sliced right through the EMA ribbon, wicked right up to that, and then that dropped all the way down to 78K. We bounced, but we stayed under the EMA ribbon all the way down to 75K. That was the bottom of that falling wedge, which was a little bit shy of my 73.8 that I thought we were going to hit, or which previous high. And then we bounced and broke out of that, which Chad was giving signals in the group to go along right here. Point being is that whenever we flip the EMA ribbon bearish, if we can't get back above it, then it usually means a big drop coming. And there are times.
Nico, which ribbon is that? I've been asked a few times, and I don't know exactly which one you're using.
The EMA ribbon for crypto.
It just comes right up as EMA ribbon for crypto. Okay.
EMA, yeah, the EMA and the default settings are already in. So Now, let's see. This is Bitcoin. Let me just see. This is the weird part, guys, right here. Is this is where we flipped it bearish. We flipped it bearish and we come down all the way to the 112 and we're trying to get back through it right now on the 4 hour. And we got a little ways to go. If we go to the daily, we're wicking right up to the top of the ribbon and the 50-day moving average right now. But this rarely happens where we get below it and then come right back above it and then get right back below it again. So there's a lot of craziness going on right now. You might look back and say, oh, no, that happens all the time. No, this is wicking down to the bottom of it and bouncing back above it, wicking down to the bottom of it and bouncing back above it. This is flipping, meaning we get below it and we can't get back above it. And we hold underneath it for a while before getting back above it, holding above it for a while. By the way, these are daily candles. So this is like a week above it and then breaking back below it and then a couple of days below it. And now we're trying to get back above it. All of these times here, wick down to the bottom, bounce up, wick down to the bottom, bounce up, wick down to the bottom, bounce up. This right here, wick down to the bottom, bounce up, but don't get above it. Flipped, holding underneath and then drop underneath and stay underneath it for 3 months underneath before getting back above it right here. And if I go back to the last bull market back in 2021, that's when that happened, right here. Above it, above it, above it, above it. This is, we hit 65K and we flipped it bearish right here and we dropped all the way down to 30K, staying under it. And this was from May of 2021 to July, so 2 months. And then we broke back above it and we come all the way up to 52,000 and we do flip underneath, we do flip it and then come right back above it. This is very similar to what we're doing now. So we could flip back above it and pump all the way back up to a new all-time high. But in this case, we only went to 68K, which is only $3,000 more than that one. So that would be like us coming back up to 26, 27K, right? Or 126, 127K right now. But then after that, we flipped it bearish. And that was the beginning of a bear market. We stayed under it for a long time. So it's this 112 is important, guys. We're staying above it right now. That's good. We had a moment where we wicked below it to like 111 or 107 down here when we wicked down below, but we came right back above it. That was good. And we're also heading towards something as well, you might notice, which is this upward trending support going all the way back to August right here when we were on our way up. And you know, we could come over to that before we pop up, but and this blue line right here is, we're far away from that, but that is the upward trending support. This blue line going all the way back to the bear market. I mean, going all the way back to, I shouldn't even say bear market, should right there is where that's supposed to be. That's 2011. This is a long running upward trending. I just moved it, so I gotta fix it now. But we did hit it down here in 2022 and we bounced on it here in 2023. And so we haven't been back to the top of this channel for a while. So if we do have a parabolic move to the upside, this could be it, or we do shoot up to that 550K range up here somewhere. That could happen, and that would keep us in line with this overall upward trending channel going all the way back since the beginning of Bitcoin. But that just hasn't happened yet. So daily Sunny Belt daily. You can use it on the lower time frames, but you need to understand it because it means something different on the lower time frames. Now let's get rid of I would say it's more accurate on the daily and the weekly. Let's get rid of that indicator and let's just go with the RSI, and we're going to go to stochastic RSI, and we're going to go to the weekly time frame. Again, blue line crossed the orange line to the upside, and now both are above the dotted line. There is a little crick in the blue, but this is bullish right here, guys. This is good. It's what we want for a pump to the upside. And we did have a little pump. We did have a little pump, and that was when that blue line crossed the orange line. And then you can see there is some red here coming back to retest the orange, but generally speaking, that this happened here. It did happen here where we did have a pump. And then it came back down even further here. So this is possible to happen still. Both lines have to be going up and not cross again. Generally speaking, the wider apart they get like this, as soon as they cross cross the dotted line, the blue line and the orange line continuing up and getting further apart from each other as they're going up. You can see that happen a lot. They get further apart as they go up, further apart as they go up. And that is usually a good sign. This little crook in the blue line is not that great. We got 4 days and 7 hours left of this weekly time frame for this to show different, but we really want to see a bounce on this 112 and a pump up somewhere up here into the previous all-time high range. Let's go and let's change that and go to MACD. Don't look at it that much, but get rid of this. The MACD, moving average, convergence, divergence. You can see money flow flowing out and then coming back around. So when this starts to curve down here like this, curving back up, money flow in, blue line crosses orange line to the upside here, and look at this green pump to the upside here when that happened. Same here. Money flow, let me just go to the bottom here. Money flow out. That's this downward trend. And then you can see the red turns to pink. It's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. It's coming back around. Boom, money flows in. Green, blue line crosses the orange line to the upside. Pump. A little bit of a dip pull back here, but the green never went to red. It just came back down and went back up again, and we had more pumps to the upside. So here we had a lot of green. I mean, we came out of this red to green. That was this big pump here. We came down a little bit and pumped back up higher and never went into red. And then now it's coming into red. And we did have a little bit of a pump in between where it turned pink, but it's kind of red again. But that could turn to pink. So we've had that happen here where you see red, pink, red, pink, red, pink. But if the overall curve is coming back up, what we need to see is this blue line cross back above the orange line. I don't generally use the MACD too much, but if you are, make sure it's on the higher time frames. I would say the weekly. On the daily, not looking that great, coming down. On the 2 week, looks like we're coming back in to the green. There is also, let me get rid of this. There's something else that I don't talk about that much, but I'm gonna show you right now. We got the Williams alligator right here. Boom. I'm gonna put that on the chart. I'm gonna hide the EMA for the moment. The Williams alligator is this blue, green, and red lines. I'm gonna go to the 5-day on that. So generally speaking, when the green line is on top and it crosses the red line to the downside, we usually have a big dump. When the green line is on top and it crosses the red line to the downside, I mean, it was already starting to dump, but as you can see, that is confirmation, and it does go down much further from there once that happens. So right now, the green line is above the red line, and it is curving down towards the red line. What could this mean? Well, if it bounces, that's okay. It could do that. Like, let me find an example where it comes down close to it, and then it pumps back up like this. Comes down close to it, and we still have another rally up. But like this here also, it comes down and crosses it, but it pumps back up. These are anomalies that don't. But usually when the green line crosses the red line to the downside, and then it crosses the blue line. I mean, look at this, guys. Look at this waterfall all the way down. This is the Williams alligator, and it's most accurate on the 5-day. So these are just some tools that you can use right now. I mean, look at here. Oh, also it's inverse. When the Williams alligator does cross to the downside and it crosses the red line and the blue line, and then it crosses back up above the red line and the blue line, look what happens to the price. Also, now, is it telling you what's going to happen? No, these are lagging indicators, which means the price is doing something and then this does something. So you can already see the price moving up before this crosses, but this cross, once it happens, is kind of confirmation of what you're seeing. It's letting you know. It's just another indicator that can help you make a better decision if you think this might be dropping. But as you can see, it's a little wavy. It came down close to the red, but it didn't cross, bounced up. It's green right now. The current candle on the 5-day is green, and we are still above. We have not dropped below. This would need to drop below the 112, possibly even this upward trending support, and then we would be in store for a big dump, probably down to the 101 to 104 range. But I'm not going to be calling that quite yet, guys, but that would be like right somewhere in this level. We have major resistance and support at this level. That would be the next support resistance level below the 112. We'll get rid of the Williams alligator for now. Put the EMA back on. And let's go back to market cipher B. And let's just look on the weekly. We do have a green dot followed by a red dot almost instantly. We do have money flow turning like it's going back out. That's not good. Let's go down to the hourly. Got a lot of money flowing in. The wave is getting bigger and bigger and higher, but it could crest soon. This is what it looks like when it crests. The light blue like a wave, it curls over, and then the light blue gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just blue, and then you'll see a dot. Crest, 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 dot. Crest, 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 dot. Once this gets up too high and it crests over, there'll be a red dot, and that's usually when, if you look at the price up here, look at the dotted line going straight up from this red dot. We have a little bit of a pump, boom. A little bit of a pump, red dot, boom. So the market cipher B is very accurate. It's one of the only indicating bundles that I've ever recommended or referred to anybody. It is in the important links channel in our Discord. If you guys are interested in it, you're welcome to get it. You don't need it because I'm looking at it, and I do post signals and stuff, and I do check it every once in a while. But if you go into our Discord group and you come up to official links, I also just put Decent in there. That's a cold storage wallet. People keep asking me in person and DMs what cold storage wallet. This is the one I use, biometric. But if you scroll up here, you'll see Market Cipher. There's a referral link for that. You can go and check that out, and that basically will take you to this page here. There is a cost to it, guys. It's not free, and I don't get any money from it. So that is a referral link, so you do get a discount for using it. But it's lifetime access for $1,500 or $600 a year, something like that. And if you're going to be a professional trader, if you're going to take this seriously, you might as well have the best tools out there. That is one that I would recommend. And you can just have it on another. I have it on my TradingView. I don't have it on my Phemex, but I have it on TradingView all the time. I'll go over there and I'll look at it every once in a while here when I'm giving these, because what you're seeing down here looks messy, but when you buy it and you get it, it explains what all this means. So the money flowing out, money flowing in, the stochastic RSI, the regular RSI, the green line here, and this bar down here means something. But generally speaking, if I go down to the 10-minute, if I'm scalping and you want to learn and become a scalper, you can scalp on the 10-minute. And when this red, if you would have went short on this red dot, or if you would have went short on this red dot, or short on this red dot, you can see those would have been all pretty successful trades. This is the only indicator I've ever seen that is not lagging. In other words, it's telling you what's about to happen. Look at this green dot here. You see the money flow out. It curves under, green dot, right at the bottom of this. Boom. If you would have went long, you'd have been up quite a bit just by playing dots. All right, so let me get back over here. Sorry about that. Guys, the basics call is starting right now. Bill put the link in the Zoom chat. And also, if you go over to Discord, it is also in the main chat in Discord here. And whoops, and the announcements channel right here. And oh, by the way, guys, I want to remind you guys, I do have a new YouTube channel. I mean, a new YouTube video up. If you are the ones that want to support or help that, go to YouTube, search my name in YouTube. I could put a direct link, but I'd rather you go to YouTube, search my name, find my page, go to videos, and then watch the most recent one there that I have. Plus, subscribe. You'll learn some stuff there. And I appreciate your help there. I am giving some stuff away at the end of each month. I'm sending out to people who are helping out with that. So be on the lookout. I'm going to ask you for your address. Also, this image that I posted earlier, this was in November of 2021. These girls, this is funny. These girls are all excited. They started a Bitcoin group, dinner with my girlfriends who are new BTC investors. Welcome them to Team Orange. So they were all excited. They were getting ready to all invest in Bitcoin. This is November 11th in 2021. Okay. And just so you know, this is what happened right after they all piled money into Bitcoin in 2021, because they just didn't understand market timing like you guys will be able to hear. I wanted to show this earlier, but now it's 2 o'clock already. But if you're new, just get on the basics call. But this is a good example, guys. If I go to the weekly right here, this was November of 2021. Right there is when they posted that at the very top. They all invested right then at the top. And then it dropped from 68K down to 15.5. Do you think that those girls were a little bit unhappy and then got a sour taste in their mouth about investing? Yes. But it's not because it wasn't a good investment. It's because their timing was not good. This is where they should have got in down here. And if they were smart, they would have held all of this all the way and then bought more down here. But they just don't know. You don't know what you don't know until you learn it.
Nico, what's the name of that indicator again that costs money?
Market Cipher. And it is in our Discord group in the official links channel right here. Market Cipher, the ultimate indicator bundle. The guy who created that, his name is Crypto Face. You can find him on YouTube as well. He trades with millions of dollars in his account live. He doesn't teach like we do. He just created this bundle, and he's a good trader, and he makes hundreds of thousands of dollars live on YouTube. He trades while he's drunk. He says stupid things. He's kind of obnoxious, but he's kind of interesting to watch because money to him is no object. He makes Ferrari money every day like it's nothing.
Is that a good indicator for beginners or not? What do you suggest on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take this seriously and it's something you're going to learn, then you might as well. I think it's good because when you go on their channel and you buy that indicator bundle, it's going to teach you. It's going to show you how to do what the tutorial videos. You can watch it first. Just go to their thing and watch the tutorial videos. It'll show you what these things mean. And once you get this, you're buying a license. You do have to have TradingView set up, and you do have to have a pro account on TradingView, which is like $10 a month or $20 a month, something like that. And then you would add this. you would give them your TradingView name and they will add the license to your TradingView. And then it will look like this on TradingView. When you're over there, when you go to your indicators, you'll have, these are locked. You see these little locks here? These are paid. That's a paid license that I have from Market Cipher. And those are added to my TradingView. And it explains how to do all that. But yes, I do think, but once you understand what you're looking at here, then it makes trading easier for you. And then you'll get to the point where you don't need to see this anymore because you will start to see it on the charts. Just like me, you'll get to the point where you don't need my signals anymore because you will start to see the trade setups on the charts. All right, guys, get on the onboard again. If you have time, I know we've been on for 2 hours, but if you have time, get on Basics Call with Bill right now. I'm going to upload this recording in the Facebook group, but also I am keeping an eye, obviously, on the charts. If I see anything happen or change, I am still in my long positions on all 3 of those. We are up about $300 total. And if I see anything change here, I will post that in the Discord. I'm in the Signals channel. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, tomorrow's Thursday, we'll be live also to the public on a webinar. You guys are welcome to join that as well. That's just more time trading. We're changing the format of that a little bit where we just trade more and answer questions more. So it's basically like another call like this. So if you're already a member, get on that as well. If you have time, that's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And we will share those links in the Facebook group and in the chat as well. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions and I didn't answer them on this call, just ask it in the main chat and Discord and we'll get it answered for you. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later.